Hey everyone, it's Aspen Connor. I am coming to you on Thursday afternoon. I wanted to give a quick update before I left Bowling Green for the afternoon, but as predicted, the defense in the Brooks Houck and Joseph Lawson trial rested this afternoon. The long weekend will be a break for everyone to regroup and come back Monday morning at 9:15 Central Standard Time, in which time they will have closing arguments. I believe the jury is coming in at 10 a.m. as there are a motion or two to deal with before the jury gets there. But very quickly, I just wanted to give a quick update before I went off to my 4th of July plans, which are not too far from here. Kind of a home away from home, and I can't wait. But I will, of course, be back here on Sunday, and I will be in Bowling Green until the verdict is reached. There was a witness on the stand before the defense rested, and I found their list of things that they pointed to as far as Brooks Houck's innocence. Interesting, just because of the way that it was bullet point. I almost felt like it was a Tom Webster spreadsheet. But the ex-officer's name was Denver Butler, no relation to the defense attorney. He was a former Louisville police detective, and he is considered an expert in police investigations. He laid out a entire case as far as the fact that Crystal Rogers' car, there was a hair found in the driver's seat and a hair on the driver's side floorboard. Neither were tested. Brooks Houck's trunk and home, no evidence was found. Nick Houck's police cruiser, no evidence was collected that showed a crime was committed. Houck Farm, searched on the 6th of July, the 7th of July, and the 10th of July of 2015. No evidence was found that showed a crime was committed. The white Buick LeSabre that belonged to Anna Whiteside, Brooks Houck's grandmother, it was processed on May 4th, 2016. There was no DNA from Crystal Rogers inside the car. A hair similar to Rogers was found, but a lab was unable to get a DNA profile from it. Whitesides Road, there was no evidence found. Pullum Avenue, which is Anna Whiteside's home address, there was no evidence found. Paschal Board Road was searched on August 30th, 2016. No blood found on front loader of Brooks. I'm assuming that means the skid steer. The Houck Farm, again, searched August 30th and the 31st of 2016. No evidence was found. The Houck Farm, searched August 6th through the 9th of 2020 by the FBI. No evidence was found. North Howard Street, which is one of Brooks Houck's rental properties that he had laid some concrete down, I think, in, was searched on August 30th, 2021. They tore up the driveway around the house, and they found a pair of women's underwear with hairs on it underneath the driveway. But the DNA did not match Crystal Rogers. The Houck Farm was then again searched on October 17th through the 20th, 2022. No evidence was found. That was the case laid out by the investigative expert, if you will. I am going to maintain that I still think the jury can see through this and that they are going to return a guilty verdict. But that's just my guess, and my guess is worth nothing. So it is completely up to those 12 jurors. And like I said, I'll be here biting my fingernails, waiting for a verdict after closing statements. I did want to say, one thing I forgot to mention in my earlier video was that yesterday when something that noteworthy that happened, when Brooks Houck's sister took the stand, it was the first time in the 7 days of testimony that I, or anyone that I talked to in the courtroom, has seen Brooks Houck react barely, hardly at all. He hasn't shown a hint of emotion, or his body language has not been easy to read. But when she took the stand, his physical demeanor and his normally stoic disposition, his posture, it was shook. I'd say it was absolutely evident as his sister gave her testimony. And almost the entire time she was on the stand, it's literally the one instance of any reaction that I have seen come from the defendant. And granted, it's difficult, when I'm sitting behind him to see his facial expressions. But I do try to pay attention to all of those things. And, maybe I'm a horrible person. But seeing his apparent uncomfortableness with it and how upset he was, it kind of made me content, because he deserves to feel as much agony and pain, in my opinion, as he's allegedly caused countless others that have now spent the last decade of their lives feeling every day. So I'm sorry if he had a few minutes of uncomfortable emotions. I guess it's just nice to know that not everything involving Brooks Houck is a fraud or completely fabricated and made up. But I digress. Anyway, it was 2:25 Central Standard Time, I believe, is when I looked at my watch, that the defense had rested its case Thursday afternoon in the Crystal Rogers murder case. This is setting the stage now for closing arguments Monday morning in Bowling Green, as I said. For the second time this week, Judge Charles Sims denied a motion from both Brooks Houck's attorney and Joseph Lawson's attorney for a summary judgment rather than letting it go to the jury, which means essentially the trial will continue. It happens at every trial. Sims has said there's sufficient evidence to send the case to the jury, and as I said before, court will resume at 9:15 a.m. on, that's Eastern Standard Time, so 8:15 Central Standard Time, Monday, and the jury will then come in at 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. The defense will give its closing statements first in the morning, and then after lunch, it will be the prosecution's turn. And as to whether or not Joseph Lawson's attorney will give a closing statement, we don't know. I would assume he will, but he waited to give his opening statement. But I see Monday morning going Brooks Houck. One of their attorneys will go first, then the other, then we'll have lunch, and then the prosecution will give their closing argument. Then the judge will do jury instructions, and after that, I would say by the end of Monday, it will be in the hands of 12 jurors. So, over this long weekend, please say a prayer for Crystal Rogers, for her mother, Sherry, for her entire family, her children, for anyone that loves her. They've waited a decade for answers at all, and I don't know how many they're going to get. I just pray that Crystal receives some sort of justice, because it's so long overdue. Everyone, please have a safe and fun holiday weekend. Happy 4th of July, wherever you're celebrating from. And I grew up out in the country in a small town, so pro tip, if you're shooting off fireworks at home, don't let the uncle that already has like 2 missing fingers be in control. Never a good idea. Anyway, everyone, thank you so much for being here, and I will see you all back in Kentucky on Sunday night. Thank you. Bye. I also forgot to mention, I'm offering memberships on my channel now, so if you would like content that is exclusive to members and the perks that go along with membership, please consider hitting the join button below. But if not, I would really appreciate you just liking and sharing the video. Thank you very much.